Today's episode is all about APIs. Nexoff CTO Will Blackburn will explain what they are, how they work, and how Nexoft is using them to make their clients' lives easier and more productive.
First, we'll give the true definition and what it stands for, right? Which is an application programming interface. I think that does an okay job of describing what it is. It is a way that lets you connect between two pieces of software. So that's the application programming interface. It lets you program on top of other applications. And so two pieces of software can connect through these APIs. And the API really does two things. And one, it provides the rule for interacting with whatever piece of software that you're trying to interact with. And then two, it provides the method of that interaction.
How does Nexoft utilize APIs?
Yeah, we use APIs for a lot of things, but one of the main things we use it for is for Fintech connectivity. And so we are actually able to connect systems together as different companies want to use financial data in a secure and safe way. And so we are able to build onto APIs that exist already, right, from one of the services that is providing that API, but we're also able to build APIs ourselves. So it's a pretty cool way that we use APIs to help move financial data around, and then to offer some additional functionality to services. So a couple of examples there. Maybe it's an online banking platform and they want to integrate in with a loan servicing product, right? And so that's an example of, maybe we're able to send the data from one system to another so that they're not having to do that duplicate work. And it's pretty neat. So we're not only able to build on top of existing APIs, but we can also build our own APIs that connect disparate systems together. And so that's what we do. And we take these use cases that are performed a lot, and we're able to build out these particular APIs and then use them for our clients and partners, and really streamline their process and make things easier for them through our APIs.
So you talked about kind of the end user and kind of what an API looks like for them. Can you talk about the functionality, like what that looks like for these banks and credit unions?
Yeah, absolutely. The great thing about APIs is that it's almost always reducing work. It helps with automation. And so at the end of the day, there's not a ton of true user experience, right? Because the API is the communication protocol. It's the communication going back and forth from one piece of software to the other. And so really the big thing that the user sees is that they no longer have to do some of the manual processes to move data from this system to that one, or they're able to now use a new service that the API has opened the door for. So those are really the two main things that the user sees. And reducing that manual work and providing more functionality, that's what our goal is at the end of the day when we're building these APIs, when we're connecting systems through existing APIs. And so, that's our goal, and we've been able to achieve that with many of our clients. And so, we really want to get to the place where we're continuing to have these companies have very limited setup work and then reduction of work that they had to do. So, APIs help automate those processes.
So it sounds like it's being moved from kind of the foreground to the background. So, these banks, have been kind of their one job to input this data and to re-input it. But now it's kind of a background thing that they don't even have to think about or worry about.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that lets them focus on kind of the key things that they really want to be doing, right? What can they be doing to really make their customers happy at the end of the day, and getting them out of some of that kind of more redundant work.
Awesome. So, this all sounds really fantastic, but can you ensure that these APIs are secure?
Yeah, so API security is something that is of a ton of importance. I was able to do a talk in our What's Next conference back in October on it, and had a lot of fun with that. And Nexoff cares a lot about security. We've built a security platform from the ground up at Nexoft, which is ThreatAdvice, and so we're able to use that expertise and the team experience to secure and protect all the APIs we use. We do that in a couple of ways. First, we make sure that all the data that's being sent through APIs is being done the right way. And so that means encrypting. It means making sure we authenticate whoever uses it. So not everybody can just send data around, right? And then we authorize them too. So there's two components there, authenticate and authorize. One is figuring out who the person is that's trying to use the API. And the other piece of it is seeing what they can do. So not everybody should be able to do everything, right? And so that's kind of the first level, is we make sure that that is done right. And then secondly, we continuously monitor our APIs. And we do this through a tool we call OmniAlert. And so this tool is constantly seeing everything that happens with our APIs. It's looking at every single log, every single network activity on these APIs, and it will alert us if anything looks out of place. And we have a team of experts, security experts with tons of years of experience, and they're able to monitor this and make sure that everything looks right and that nothing's out of place.
So, I mean, it just seems like APIs is kind of opening up a whole new world for the fintech industry. Where do you see the future of APIs going moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I would say the future is only going to be more connected. We've already seen software take over the world in the last 30 or so years. And the next evolution of that is every piece of software talking to each other. And we see a lot of this today, right? So whether it's Internet of Things or financial services and fintech, or really anything, it's all going to be connected. And the way that connection happens is through APIs. And so this is something that we're excited to be building, to be working on, to be securing. And, we are really excited at Nexoft about APIs and where we're going with it.
Great. So it's time for the last question. And since you were already a previous guest, you've already answered my typical question. So I had to come up with a new question for you. So kind of in this pandemic world, nobody's kind of traveling to where they would like to go. So my question is, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled?
Yeah, I love that question. And my answer right now would be Rome. So my wife and I were able to make a trip to Europe before our son was born about 18 months ago. And it was an awesome experience, to be able to see the history that's there with the ruins, all the fountains, the Pantheon. We love that. The people were great. Coffee was great. The food, of course, was great. And then, also seeing Vatican City. Vatican City, the Sistine Chapel, St. Paul's Cathedral. It's just super impressive. And, we were able to see a few cities in Europe, and that's the one that, really want to get back to maybe sometime once the virus gets dealt with. So
there's a lot of history there. I've never been, but it's definitely on my bucket list to go.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Will, for joining us. You kind of opened up a whole new world for APIs, and we can't wait to see what Nexoft has in store.
Thanks, Amy. I had a lot of fun talking.
This episode of OmniTalk was sponsored by Nexoff. Nexoft is your all-in-one stop to help your company secure, connect, and optimize your data. Welcome to Data Done Right. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of OmniTalk. As always, stay safe and stay well.